Whatever you're doing right now is changing everything. And I mean everything. I pray this message finds you at the precise time you need it. As always, take what resonates with you and leave the rest for everyone else. These are collective timeless messages, so some things might apply to your past, some things now, and maybe some things will have future resonance. Reference? Sure. All right. Well, let's see. I mean, whatever you're doing right now is changing everything. And I'm telling you, this message is not for everyone. Whatever you have just decided that you are going to commit to is changing everything. It's changing like your default settings, like your default functions. You know, some of you might have been the kind of person that wants to change the way you work with technology, like you customize certain settings to make it more your own instead of just working with what the default perfunctory settings are of something. I just see that being kind of an analogy or an analogous situation to what you are doing with your life. You're customizing things. Glitching is confirmation. This message is so important that it's glitching the system, okay? The changes that you are making, even if they're just minuscule pivots, they are changing everything. Everything. You're no longer afraid of doing things your own way. You're no longer making sacrifices of peace to embody something that doesn't align with you anymore. You are taking your power back from all connections, all situations, circumstances, triggers, anything in your life right now that is disrupting your peace, disturbing your ability to feel like you are making progress. And instead of blame, game, shame out there, what you're doing is practicing radical accountability. And this is kind of this wild card energy because this is something that is unprecedented for you. The way you are allowing yourself to move through certain things. Even your spirit team, they're telling me, they're like, we've never seen this kind of behavior from you anymore. Even your spirit teams are saying, we haven't seen this kind of behavior from you before. And this is the kind of thing where it's like you're putting complete stops to certain things. Whether that's addictions, whether that's the way you talk about people, whether that's gossiping, any kind of low vibrational nonsense that really you can acknowledge is nonsense and is not sensible for everything you're trying to create, everything you are working to welcome into your life. Not that these things have to be a fight to change, sometimes they are. But that's the process of releasing you from the attachment of the way you have been doing things. So now, as you're starting to say, okay, you know what? I don't like the way that I said that. You're saying, I don't like the way that that whole situation makes me feel. But you recognize that you can't change the situation. What you can change is how you see it and therefore how you feel about it. The law of attraction works. The laws of manifestation work. And you're learning how to make them work in your favor. And I feel like for some of you in the past, you've been like, oh, that's a whole bunch of bogus. That's just whatever. That's nonsense. But really, it's been nonsense to entertain things that don't serve you. And your spirit team has been guiding you towards resources, practitioners, teachers, mentors, all sorts of discoveries, both around you and within you, in the form of synchronicities as well as intuitive nudges that are showing you just how much you're ready to change things. And that maybe In the past, you wouldn't have been open to this kind of information, but now you're open to trying anything. And it's this kind of acceptance of, you know what? I'm willing to give something new a shot. If it means that I could create something new in my life and move myself in a new direction, I'm willing to give it a shot. That's more than you could say for yourself 3 years ago. And that's really, really powerful. Like, I just see your spirit keeps saying, like, you're changing your default settings. You're changing your perfunctory settings. You are literally taking such radical accountability that, like, this spread is crazy. I asked spirit for something wild, and this is wild. And I feel like this is where you're at right now. You're like, okay, spirit, well, let me just try something new. Show me something new. Show me something good. Show me something crazy. Show me something awesome. And because you're in that practice now of asking for something new, it's giving life the opportunity to bend and mirror that new vibration. Because you're going to be on the lookout. Well, when's that really good thing coming? When's that really crazy thing coming in? That really wild, unbelievable, but miraculous thing that I've been putting my thoughts and my attention into. As irrational as that might have been to you in the past, you're seeing how much this is actually living in connection. We are nature. Becoming grounded, embodiment, living in connection. It's just like the feeling of this energy, feeling so connected, being at one with all that is. It's changing everything for you. I mean, just first few cards here, I was like, wow, what spirit? They had me pull 7 for this row. And here we go. Okay. First tarot card, every single time you change your mindset like this and you're like, I want to do that differently. I want to do that differently. I want to see if I can make that happen. You're changing the game. The world. You are changing the game. The 2 of Pentacles. The 3 of Wands. The 4 of Cups. The 3 of Pentacles. The Queen of Wands. And Temperance. Temperance. I'm seeing you, Spirit saying that you're taking accountability for the unconscious things that interrupt your flow. You are taking accountability for the unconscious things that interrupt your flow. Yeah, radical accountability here. Woo. The World, the 2 of Pentacles. Because I just see like you're so focused on what you want the outcome to look and feel like. And because this is where you're starting, I mean, I can't remember the last time I started a reading for you that the first card out, or I did a reading for you that the first card out was the World. Like, you are so focused on the end game of really getting clear about what it is you want to feel and what those things look like now that feel that way. It's just like all of these decisions that the decisions are becoming clearer to you. Well, what actually served this? See, ah, what actually serves this? What actually serves this? What actually, 3 of Wands, is in alignment with that vision? What are those choices that move you forward? Even if they're hard, even if they're uncomfortable, even if it means looking at things differently, becoming solution oriented as opposed to problem oriented. What does it mean to you to be looking at these things differently? What does it mean to you to be meditating on how you want your life to be different? Three of Pentacles, Four of Cups. What does it mean for you to see these things differently? What does it mean for you to see your efforts differently? Not as just a little here, a little there, a little sprinkle there, a little da-da-da over here, but actually things that are going to consistently move you into the direction of freedom and alignment. It's like you're choosing the choices that bring you towards your future, no matter how unfamiliar these new patterns are. Because you're not waiting for permission to take action anymore. And if you are, then you need to understand that this is where you're being held up. Not in, okay, well, I'm clear about this vision, I'm clear about what I'm creating. But if your actions aren't aligned with the thoughts that are creating feelings that are beneficial for you, your actions are meant to serve as a positive reinforcement for the thoughts that you have that are beneficial to you. They are meant to serve you. And I see you were caught up in this kind of ego trap of, yeah, but they need to do this, they need to do that, or you know what, maybe it's just not going to happen. It's too hard. It's blah, 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 blah. But now you're seeing just how much things can change when you believe that they can. Your spirit team is showing you, hey, we're here to help you, but we can only respond to your new thoughts that are consistent. And the way to keep those thoughts consistent is by developing practices of action that keep you in alignment with those thoughts and learning tools and skills to redirect yourself back to the frequency of feeling good. The Queen of Wands and Temperance. The Queen of Wands and Temperance. The World, Two of Pentacles, Three of Wands, Three of Pentacles, Four of Cups, Queen of Wands, Temperance. I just see like you're not letting this feeling of being down and out decide or determine your reality anymore. Are you kidding? Spirit, come on. You're too good. This next card is the Rose of Venus. Alignment, flow, right relationship, and harmony. For some of you, this is about having that right relationship with yourself first before anything else in your life changes. Look at that rose. It looks like a portal. It looks like a gate opening. That's what I'm feeling. It's like a gate that's opening for you as you are coming back to your embodiment, as you are becoming grounded again in truth. By believing that these things can work for you. Not that nothing ever changes, everything's always the same. None of that. None of that. You are letting your angels and your guides help you where they can. And I see you consciously connecting with them, asking them for their help, but also asking them to guide you as to what would be most helpful for you. And that's really the key to understanding what co-creation is. That's what Spirit says. As opposed to white noise or static. Tuning your frequency into, okay, if I get action, or if I get direction around action, you see the glitch here? If I get direction around action, then that is the instruction to go. That is the green light. Your reality is changing so much. You could be going through a lot of ascension symptoms at this time too. I'm not going to take some time to list them all here, but I encourage you to do some research and just kind of have a resource for you in your back pocket to refer to about different ascension symptoms. So I just see this flow that you're stepping into by being more grounded and by asking yourself, what if I could change these things? How would you even start? And how do you stay consistent? I see that bringing so much balance and peace to you, but also helping you surrender to the right alignment and flow and harmony, exactly with the Rose of Venus here, that is going to help Spirit co-create with you. Your manifestations are co-creations because it's your ability to say, oh, I recognize that that is the fruit of my prayers. I've been asking for that. There it is. I've been asking for that. There it is. And sometimes it takes a little detective work too. Like you might be asking for healing of your visibility wounds, but then going through tower moments that are showing you just how rooted these are in certain memories and certain connections. That then, once you figure that out and get to the root of that, you're being brought corrective experiences and opportunities for you to try those things again with different outcomes. And that's an answer to your prayer of, I want to be seen. I want to be comfortable being seen. We have the Hierophant. We have the Fool. See, here you are. I can't. You have the World and then the Fool. Queen of Swords. And the Eight of Wands. Hierophant, the Fool, Queen of Swords, and the Eight of Wands. It's just you taking power back from your mind. You controlling your mind. It's not easy. Nothing about that is supposed to be easy. That's why it's so easy to be unconscious. That's why so many people are less than semi-conscious. It's difficult to be accountable. But I'm seeing you understand just how non-negotiable some of these things are, some of these practices, some of these changes in your belief system really are. They're non-negotiable. The Hierophant and the Fool tells me that again, like we've been seeing all of this seven energy, the month of July being a 7-month, but also underlying 5 energy with the start of the astrological year influencing this month to make it the number 5. This is showing you actually do have a solid understanding in your faith, even if it looks completely different than how you ever expected it to, or how the past versions of you have made your faith out to be. And that's where you said, okay, you know what? No. If I really do believe this, then I'm going to act like I do, instead of questioning it every 5 seconds. You're not letting your mind sit there and stew in things anymore. You're calling your power back from your mind by taking action and believing in your manifestations, by letting them go. Because if you're constantly wondering, that's keeping the energy of your manifestation here. It's not letting it move out to create in a rippling effect around you. The Queen of Swords says, yeah, no, like, we're done with that. Usually the Queen of Swords is like that kind of energy with other people, but this is you towards yourself now. You're like, I'm not taking it from anyone. I'm not taking anything. I'm not sitting with this. I'm not going to deal with this. I'm not going to da 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 da. And you're changing it. You are calling your power back, and that is moving things fast for you. Because that's your alignment. It's you not letting your mind unconsciously create your reality. You recognizing when it wants to run away with you. Remember, it's a practice. It's not a destination. It's a practice. It's a practice. Sorry, my dog just growled. She does this thing where she like half barks and she calls it like a whisper. So the Eight of Wands, rounding out this Hierophant, the Fool, the Queen of Swords, and the Eight of Wands here just says it's like you're not letting chatter or distraction or unrealistic negativity distract you, and therefore your entire vortex is clear for things to move very quickly, for the right opportunities to find you, for you to feel confident and positive about the work that you can put into something. Effortless effort. That is harmony and flow in action. And here we're going to pivot into a different part of this message. I was picking up that really intensely. A deep part of this is going to be forgiveness of self, being gentle with yourself. Oh, Spirit, what did they say before? How did you say that? It's like gently and steadily moving yourself. There was one more word I can't recall it, and that's okay. Gently and steadily reorienting yourself. Because remember, these are long-term practices that you're implementing right now. This is not so you can change your life right now and have everything you ever wanted right now. Because part of the process of manifestation is also moving and taking action towards those things. You can't avoid taking action. And that's where a lot of people are getting tripped up in the first part of this reading. They're so caught in the vision, the ideas. Maybe this is some of you too. So caught up in the vision and the ideas that you get overwhelmed because it all seems too daunting that you're unable to take action instead of focusing on what's right here and what's right now. Not 20 years from now, not 15 years of consistent hard work, but what's right now. Because your fulfillment is absolutely possible right now. And the more you're fulfilled with your aligned action and thoughts, the more you can create more flow of effortless effort and action into greater fulfillment. Whatever that looks like to you. So, really allowing yourself to see things differently here. Really allowing yourself to be gentle with yourself. Especially when you're triggered, because a lot of you are moving through very intense triggers. And I see that also being a deep catalyst for even being drawn to this reading. How do you deal with your own triggers? How do you not hate yourself when you get out of control because of what's happening around you or what's not happening around you? How do you take radical accountability for how you're feeling? No one can do that work for you. Sometimes it doesn't matter how many times you set that boundary if the action that you're taking and the thoughts that you are entertaining are not changing. That's an inside job. So Spirit is saying, the Rose Garden, be gentle with yourself. innocence, forgiveness. Be gentle with yourself. Healing waters. Some of you need to be drinking more water. I'm seeing some of you spend more time by water. And that being really healing for you. And this is clarified by the Four of Swords. Fitting, right? The Three of Swords. Yep. Justice. Just taking that imagery for a second. And the Knight of Cups. Four of Swords, Three of Swords, Justice, and the Knight of Cups. I'm just hearing self-soothing, self-soothing. You're learning new ways to soothe yourself that don't involve avoidance. That's huge. Self-soothing in ways that hold space for your experience and invite you to see things differently, to transmute that energy instead of just squashing it down or putting it over there. Really working through it so that it doesn't define you anymore. Because the worst thing that can happen is you keep that stuck in your body. You're not keeping things down anymore. That's one of the biggest karmic loops that you're breaking right now. Is how to process without denying the fullest extent of your feelings. I'm seeing you say to yourself, well, all of that is true, and all of this can be true, and seeing another perspective as well. And you're going to know when you've fully released this and fully alchemized this by the feeling of the release. The release is not the same feeling as the processing. I want to be clear. The processing is letting yourself be angry, letting yourself cry. Sometimes it's letting yourself be exhausted. It's letting yourself feel however you feel. The release of that is when you notice that that emotion has reached an end and it feels conclusive. It feels like you've reached a resolution. If it's a high vibrational energy, or I don't want to say high vibrational, if it's an energy that has been intense and creating chaos in you and in your life, you will feel depleted by the time that that is fully finished processing, and that's normal. Because you might say, that took a lot out of me. Well, good, because at least it's not stuck in you anymore. Good. And if you recognize that, well, maybe that's because something is taking that energy from outside of you, because you haven't had a boundary there, that's a different circumstance entirely, right? Than it is to feel triggered, become incredibly emotional, and try to stuff that down. When you let that out and you process, however you process, and you finally feel like you reached a conclusion because you're no longer feeling stuck or resistant to that energy, you feel like you've finally been able to let go of it, that's how you know you've reached the conclusion. You see how that's a very different experience from processing, the release? And that's really where you're letting go of so much here. You're healing deep pain deep heartache. And you have to be gentle with yourself too, because this is not the kind of thing that you just process it for like one day and you're fine. Especially if this is years and years of incidents and heartbreaking moments that you haven't let yourself honor. Up to now, in this point of your healing journey, that takes time. Like I said before, it's a practice. It's a constant, how do you regulate yourself practice. Do you need to pause and step back so you can go decompress over there and deal with it? Is it something you file away for later? I always think it's better to prioritize the processing. Because that's where you're actually going to find the lasting change you've been looking for. Not in overthinking, not in avoidance, not in a denial, not in a coping mechanism, but processing. And this is deep karma that you are shifting right now. Learning how to be gentle with yourself. That's a huge part of that. Being gentle with yourself doesn't mean making yourself hold on to things. It means constantly letting go. Or finding ways to let go of things that you know you don't want to be controlled by anymore. Especially if they're triggers. And we come back to radical accountability. In the fertile void. Inner winter, rest, patience, potency, and secret beginnings. There's so much changing for you. There is so much changing. These cards are crazy. The Eight of Swords, the Hanged Man, the Tower, and the Page of Cups. That's the promise of something new. That's the promise of something new. Healing the barriers in your mind. Allowing yourself to see things differently instead of continuously going up against the same perspectives. You're letting that dissolve. You're letting that perception change. Maybe it's an insecurity. Maybe it's a frustration. Maybe it's a deeply harbored rage. Maybe it's a deeply harbored rage. A sense of injustice. Deep betrayal. You are letting yourself commit to redefining yourself by allowing these things to end, by working through the energies and with them instead of trying to ignore them or stuff them down. You're letting, I just keep hearing, you're letting the chips fall where they may. As you're starting to speak differently about yourself, about the things in your life, about your triggers, about your past. Everything. There's so much power in letting yourself decide that you want things to be different. And then following through to make that happen. No matter how long it takes, no matter how hard it is. Whoa. Like at the deepest level, you are healing your relationship to time. They say time heals all wounds. That's not true. That's not true. Your intentions and promises to yourself heal all wounds. However you choose to make the most of your time is how you define yourself. However you choose to use your time. You're letting go of not belonging anywhere. For some of you, a sense of not belonging in your family unit, especially childhood. You're letting go of the fear of not belonging in the places that you feel called towards in your destiny and in your passion. This is deep healings of otherness, actually. That just because you're unique doesn't mean you need to be isolated forever. Just because you're sensitive doesn't mean that you can't function in a healed way in a world that is insensitive. You are redefining yourself based on resilience and the characteristics that you want to embody. You're calling your power back from everything and anyone who's ever hurt you. Ooh, wow. Wow, wow, wow. That's the message. I'm going to continue this over on Patreon. Also, I am still running my Super Summer sale on all of my services until the end of July. So everything is marked down on my website. You don't have to worry about a code. And you can book with me in the description box below. The link is to my psychic reading services, my Reiki healing services. I have a few uniquely curated sessions. So if you've been thinking about what kinds of approaches you could take to energy healing, definitely go check that out. And also, I do channeled herbal consults for you in case you've been looking for energetic support on your journey towards balancing different processes in your body. Again, if that's something you've been drawn to, I would definitely take advantage of that now. All right, 1111 to join me over on Patreon. The link is in the description box below, and I will see you next time. Take care.